Here's your host, Dennis Rimmer.
Hello, welcome back. Another edition of Talking Books and Writing and Stuff. Today we're talking about books and writing and stuff with Monica Goertzen Hertlein. So thank you, Monica, for spending some time with us today.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here.
Oh, good. So let's start at the beginning. Tell us about your writing journey, like from whenever you decided that maybe writing is for you or not, until now when we talk about the Star-Crossed Alliance, your first full-length novel. So where did it all begin for you, Monica?
I can barely remember because I always remember wanting to be a writer. I actually have a little handwritten paper story that I wrote in grade school with a hand-drawn cover back from then. And it was what we would now call fan fiction because it was basically adding a character into a book I enjoyed. And I loved it. I loved stories. I always loved reading. I always wanted to write stories. But it did get put aside for a lot of years. I took creative writing in high school, and I was going to major in English in university. But I didn't want to be a journalist. That's kind of not the direction I wanted to go. And that was in the U of R, too. I would have had to go to Regina.
Right.
So it did get set aside, and I went through married and children and career and all of those things. And then in 2014, I picked it up again, and I went, no, I really want to do this. And I sat down and I started writing some stories and learning about writing and writing some more and learning about writing and getting critique and feedback wherever I could. And in 2018, November of 2018, I was doing a NaNoWriMo, and I did this story that eventually became Star-Crossed Alliance. And that was the first of the many stories that have been circling in my head literally for decades that I finally put onto paper. And paper being, of course, computer.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And we have in front of us, we have Star-Crossed Alliance by Monica Goertzen Hertlein. So what was, again, your starting point for this fantasy novel, I'll call it?
Yeah. Well, the romance piece of it is one of the stories that I've lived in my imagination for a long time. So going to sleep at night or riding in a car, whatever, I would live the story in my mind. So I knew from start to finish what the plot was of that romance part. But then the sort of the frame story, like the world and the character, a lot of that grew out of, in 2017, I just finished my degree in sociology. And that was my first opportunity really to learn a lot about colonialism and some other things in the world. And those started bringing into the world that I was creating for Star-Crossed Alliance. So it's set in a mythical past on a mythical planet, but it brings in a lot of things that happen in our real world, like fiction always does. And it's during the writing process that I learn the characters and really dig into them. So multiple rewrites of me thinking, now, why would someone do that? How would that situation come about? Oh, maybe this is what happened, and maybe that must mean that this about her past or this about the world. And then that all developed. It became a cohesive story, actually, I hope.
And it's a new book just out called Star-Crossed Alliance, Monica Goertzen Hertlein. So which part of the story was probably the most exacting for you to write?
Oh, that's a good question. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking to write sex scenes. Not that there's a lot in the book, but there's some.
Darn.
And in ed fiction, you're sharing stuff inside yourself. Like every character has something of yourself in it, and you're putting yourself out there. But there is something about writing a sex scene that other people are going to read, and they're going to draw conclusions about you because of what you wrote. But hopefully enjoy the story and just ride along with it, too.
Right. And what makes your fantasy world in Star-Crossed Alliance different maybe from others?
Well, I haven't, one of the things when you're pitching a novel is to find comparative titles, and I had the difficulty finding one that was kind of exactly like this. It's not really fantasy because there's no magic. It's not really a science fiction, although it does bring in this idea of an alien race. So it's a little bit of all of those things, and it's not one of those action-packed or really spicy ones where it's a lot of sex scenes or a lot of action scenes, a lot of fight scenes. It's mostly a lot of people and a person in this different kind of world that's very different from her world. So you've got this clash of cultures. And it's about this person and how she changes kind of things around her. I haven't found one exactly like that out there, and there might be lots, and maybe people will respond to this podcast and tell me, oh, this one's like that, or that one, or read this one.
Yeah.
But I haven't found anything quite the same yet.
Well, that's good because it's different and yet it's a familiar starting point, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. So that's a good point. Now, do you outline the story or did you just discover it as you went along?
I don't write down an outline, but I know in my mind, start to end, how it's going to work. And I've been told, like, I'm also an accountant, but accountants tend to think very logically like that and have things all mapped out. But the part I learn as I'm going along is the character.
And so that's what you learn as you go along. How long did it take you to finish the first draft, or was it in various sections?
The first draft, as per what the traditional NaNoWriMo is, was written in the month of November. So November 1st to 30th, that first complete story, which at that time was 50-some thousand words, was completely written. Now, the final story is 90,000 words, and actually several of the chapters of the original one were taken out. So a lot of that happened in the 7 years since.
Oh, I see. Okay. How backing up a bit, how'd you get from accounting to sociology?
Wow. I knew I wanted to switch my focus. I'm lucky enough to have had a well-paying career and steady employment, and I wanted to work in the not-for-profit and charitable section. So I think, the thing that would be best suited to that would be either sociology or a social work degree. But social work was 4 years, and I was considering doing a 3-year, and then I came up with sociology, and I loved it. Sociology is great, fantastic subject. You pick apart the world around you in ways that you maybe don't necessarily think of in quite those academic terms, but it's fascinating.
And that is your background story, but what kept you going when the writing became difficult?
Oh, I still love it, though. And yes, it is a lot of work. Like, I think people don't necessarily realize how much work there is. The creative part is great, but it's just a small part. Then you start revising, and I do enjoy the revising. I like to make something better and look at the page and go, oh, thank goodness nobody saw it before, because that's way better. But it's time-consuming. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
What would you give advice to somebody who wants to start their first, we'll call it fantasy story? What did you learn along the way that you can pass on to others?
I would say if it's something you want to do and you love doing it, don't let anything stop you. So you're going to deal with rejection. It's going to be a lot of work, but don't let anything stop you. If you just want to write it for yourself, there's nothing wrong with that. What your goals are entirely up to you. Maybe you just want to write the story just to finish it. That's okay. Maybe nobody ever is going to see it, and that's okay. If you do want to share it with people, get feedback, and don't let anything stop you there either. Do it if you want to do it. Don't believe in yourself, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
Gotcha. Okay. Monica, which one of the characters in Star-Crossed Alliance, do you have a favorite character is my question?
Shania would still be my favorite character, our princess heroine.
And tell us about your publishing process for the book. How did it get from your computer screen to the copy I have in front of me right now?
Oh, yeah, that's been a learning journey. Like, the public world has changed so much. So the idea that you hand it off to a traditional publisher and then your piece is done, there's so many more options now. And there's no right way. There's different ways for different paths for different people and even for different stories. So I did try doing the submission process. I submitted to some traditional publishers and then made changes and submitted again and went through all of that. But meantime, I was also learning about different ways to do this yourself, different ways to work, say, in tandem with someone or a company that does parts of it and you do parts of it, or do it all yourself. And that has been quite the learning journey. And of course, this being my first novel and my first time through that, there were a lot of intricacies that I still found out as I went along, despite the webinars, despite the advice, despite, all of that, the help and information that's out there. Yeah, it's been a learning journey.
And do you have more stories to tell in the world, the universe of Star-Crossed Alliance?
I don't think there will be another one in the same world. All of my stories, like I've actually got 5 other completed manuscripts, but they're all different worlds, different characters. Some are historical, some on Earth, and some are true science fiction. So there's more, but they're different.
There's more. You got 5 more books ready to go?
Ready to go would not be quite the right word. But I do have one that I want to publish next month. So it's really, really close to done.
What do you hope readers feel when they finish reading Star-Crossed Alliance?
I want them to have fun. I want them to enjoy the romance. I want them to enjoy the adventure.
And how do we obtain the book?
Well, the best thing I would say is go to my website, and there are links there, so you can find the ebook anywhere you want to find the ebook. You can have the paper copy. The Pages of Passion bookstore will stock that. But McNally or whatever your favorite bookstore is can order it in. And there's links on my website.
And the website is www.monicagh.com. And
that's me.
Absolutely. I'm looking at your cover picture right now, and you've got a book there called Bridges of Imagination. What's that one?
Oh, Bridges of Imagination is an anthology that was put out by the Saskatoon Writers Club. And it's got some of all of our stories and poems. So there's a lot of short fiction, nonfiction, poetry from all of our members. It's a little bit of everything that you can enjoy.
That's great. And are you still in the group, I assume?
I am, yeah.
And there's also... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if anybody would like to join us, if you're in Saskatoon and you want to meet every month and just talk to other writers about writerly stuff, we'd be happy to have you.
You also mentioned Writers in Residence. That's through the Saskatoon Public Library. What can you tell us about that?
That is a great program. I know I was speaking once with somebody from, I think, the United States, and they were envious of the kind of programs we have here, but that's one of them that we're glad. You can just send a bit there to a professional writer, sit down and have a chat with them for an hour, get feedback on your writing, or just talk about writing. It's a great program.
Now, does that start like every year, or does it go on for the whole year or half the year? How does that work?
Yeah, so the Saskatoon Public Library has one that runs September to April every year, and then there's a different person every year. But there are some other programs, like there's a virtual writer in residence through the Saskatchewan Writers Guild. If you don't live in Saskatoon or you don't live in Regina or a place that has that handy, there's a virtual writer in residence you can work with too.
And you also have a newsletter, is that right?
I do. I would love for people to sign up for my newsletter, and you can find that on my website, monicagh.com.
monicagh.com, and the author is Monica Goertzen Hertlein. The book Star-Crossed Alliance. Look it up, find it, go to the website. Monica, before we go, one more quick question. What is your hidden talent?
My hidden talent. Oh my goodness. Connecting with cats.
I was going to ask about cats because we only have 3. We only have 3 in the house right now. So.
Oh, nice. That's perfect. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, one is a guest for our daughter who's away for a week, and we'll take him back tomorrow maybe. Another one is a foster that is in the room with me now, but he's very shy, and he's been in this room by himself because he doesn't want to associate with people. So the group we're with is perhaps going to make him into a barn cat, a shop cat, so he can be inside but catch mice and stuff. And the third one is named Alice. We just adopted over the weekend.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Hey. So that's our connection to cats. How many do you have?
I have 2 right now, yeah. Oh. 1 boy, 1 girl.
1 boy, 1 girl. Okay. And we have a dog too, so.
Oh my, okay.
Oh, yeah. So, yes, we're all into that. So, you're an introvert, a cat lover, an accountant, and a writer. Monica Goertzen Hertlein, the author of Star-Crossed Alliance. The website is monicagh.com. Again, thank you very much for being with us today.
Oh, thank you for talking with me.
Hope you enjoyed this episode of Talking Books and Stuff with Dennis Rimmer. You can find Talking Books and Stuff anywhere you get your podcasts. Over 300 episodes await you.